Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made. Every rumor circulating for the past few years has finally been confirmed. Total War Warhammer 40K was officially revealed at the Game Awards. Along with my viewers, I sat through the 3-4-hour stream, and we were amply rewarded. There is enough information to chew on, so let's cut to the chase. We are looking at the Indomitus era, a galaxy engulfed in infinite war. Players will lead legendary factions, deeply customize their war machines, and immerse themselves in the grim combat of this cult universe. No release date has been set. I'm betting on 2027, but it is confirmed that 4 factions will be playable at launch. First up, we have the legendary Space Marines. These genetically perfect warriors possess unmatched strength. Encased in ceramite and armed with the lethal weaponry of the Imperium, they execute attacks with surgical precision. The arrival of these community favorites was the highlight of the reveal. Facing them are the orks, brutal, relentless Xenos whose sole purpose is perpetual war. They descend upon their foes like an unstoppable tide, destroying everything in their path with a hail of gunfire and roaring engines. They are fueled by the primal force of war, known as the Wa. Orks are the foundation of fun in the 40K universe. It's highly probable that the Wa will serve as their unique mechanic, familiar to veterans of the fantasy series. The biggest intrigue, however, lies in the customization. I'm hoping for some insane tuning options. If we can't attach jet thrusters to anything and everything, the faction just won't feel right.
The third side revealed is the Eldari, a dying Xenos race, where ancient majesty has been replaced by a struggle for existence. They dominate the battlefield with sophisticated weaponry and psychic warfare, dealing lethal blows with incredible accuracy. Although their appearance was anticipated due to leaks, it was never 100% guaranteed. Their inclusion is vital, however, as they offer a radically different philosophy and approach to combat. Completing the roster is the astra militarum, the hammer of the Emperor, an unyielding wall of infantry and heavy machinery. They obliterate the opposition through massed artillery barrages and the resolve of millions of men. As a loyal follower of the Guard, I'm thrilled to see them in the game at launch.
Globally, though, this lineup is a bit questionable. The starting 4 are heavily biased toward the side of Order: Space Marines, Astra Militarum, and Eldar. Especially since, in current lore, the Eldar are engaging in diplomacy and alliances with the Imperium more than ever. Leading us into the announcement at the TGAs was David Harbour, famous for his numerous film roles. He confessed to being a fan of the tabletop wargame and casually mentioned that he will appear as a special figure within the game itself. However, his specific role is currently a secret. He isn't the only celebrity talent either. The trailer's voiceover was provided by Gwendolyn Christie, star of Game of Thrones and Wednesday. Persistent rumors suggest she isn't merely reading the script, but will be voicing one of the key Eldari characters. Now, let's address the scope of events. The game's concept reaches far beyond the conventional. It represents a global conflict across a multitude of factions. We are not dealing with mere local skirmishes, but full-scale galactic warfare. The campaign map will encompass dozens of planets. Gameplay entails the conquest of worlds, fleet management, and the development of military industry. Players will be tasked with securing key sectors and laying siege to planetary fortresses. Particular attention must be paid to the ability to call down orbital bombardment and even obliterate entire planets. Exterminatus has been confirmed. We witnessed an example of such a purging in the trailer itself. Incidentally, the classic Total War formula is undergoing a serious evolution. The developers described it as a campaign within a campaign. That sounds complex, so let's sort it out. The first level, the galaxy. This is your strategic hub. The developers refer to this global layer as the Crusade Theater, the arena where the Great War for sectors unfolds. The second level, star systems. Here is the twist. Some systems are handcrafted for balance, as per tradition. Others, however, are procedurally generated, similar to Civilization. Expect a wide variety of biomes, from teeming hive worlds to frozen wastelands and jungles infested with orks. This represents a shift in scale. Planets now fulfill the role of continents, while space serves as the sea. The third level, the surface. Planetary regions function like traditional provinces. The gameplay here will be recognizable to series veterans, though the setting has changed. Rather than developing civilian cities, we will be constructing military bases and outposts. This is logical. Space Marines have no time for erecting temples, suggesting a horde mechanic, and orks certainly don't farm. They will likely sustain themselves purely through war and pillaging resources. The main campaign, Sandbox. This is classic Total War. You build an empire, hoard resources, and wage war within a star system that can hold up to 10 planets. It's definitely the long game. The short campaign, narrative scenarios for 1 to 2 evenings, fewer planets, tighter roles, and a heavy focus on storytelling. Strike battles, lightning-fast ops where you drop right into the epicenter of combat to turn the tide in a specific region. But the coolest part is how they connect. Winning a campaign isn't the end. It's just one step towards conquering the galaxy. Writer Andy Hall says this system is designed to respect players' time. Your wins stick. Winning a battle in one system might unlock global buffs for your faction, like unique abilities for a Space Marine chapter, or help from an astra militarum regiment you saved in a previous session. Personally, this instantly reminded me of the Pantheon mechanic in Age of Wonders 4, where your custom rulers hop from world to world. It sounds monumental and, honestly, just badass. Battles will happen across all kinds of biomes with fully destructible environments, thanks to a heavily upgraded engine. In the trailer, we already saw an orc stompa just walking through a building, smashing it to pieces, or a drop pod crashing into ruins and bringing them down on orc heads. But here's the reality check. Imagine the lag. Yeah, the destruction looks sweet in pre-alpha, but to calculate physics like that in real time, you're going to need a beast of a CPU. Total War has always been hungry for CPUs and SSDs, and since this is the first run for the new engine, day one technical issues are 100% guaranteed. But back to the gameplay. You can call in orbital strikes, artillery barrages, and ship lasers right in the middle of a fight. This will actually deform the terrain, creating craters and new cover. And the coolest part? They claim the AI will actually react to this and use the changed landscape to its advantage. The structure of battles is likely to undergo significant changes. It's unlikely we will be deploying all troops simultaneously. I suspect the game will shift to a reinforcement-based system, starting with a vanguard and calling in main forces, like the Space Marine drop pods, mid-battle. Map design is also evolving. The days of flat open fields are gone. Expect complex urban terrain, streets, and choke points. While jungles are present, the current emphasis is clearly on urban environments. A major question mark is unit count. In the trailer, squads appeared small, possibly to maintain performance. While a low model count fits the lore for Space Marines, factions like the Imperial Guard and Orks need to feel like swarms. To be honest, I doubt we'll see the traditional 120 model units. The sheer scale will likely be sacrificed for better pacing and graphical detail. Regarding the technical side, the UI currently looks cluttered and definitely needs refining. Plus, with the console release, PS5, Xbox Series XS, there is a fear of parity limitations. Will the game be downgraded to fit weaker hardware? The developers promise that PC players won't be compromised, but we know the industry track record. Time will tell. Let's delve into customization. Players will be able to command legendary sub-factions and their leaders. We have already seen the Ultramarine chapter master, Marneus Calgar, on the strategic map. This walking embodiment of brutality is confirmed, although we haven't seen him in combat just yet. The real highlight, however, is for those who want to stray from canon. You can build your own custom army. The developers promise a suite of tools comparable to the tabletop game. To quote, you can name your armies, choose their sacred colors, and adorn regiments with insignia. Troops can be customized with tactical perks, unique traits, and advanced equipment. It recalls the item system from the Total War Warhammer trilogy, but with significantly more depth. We've already glimpsed the painting and loadout editor, and it looks impressive. Let's examine the unit rosters. We have already identified a force commander, chaplain, Terminators, tactical marines with bolters and chainswords, dreadnoughts, and armor. It is notable that guardsmen appear alongside Space Marines in almost every instance. Whether they will fight in mixed detachments remains an open question. Incidentally, the Eldari were completely absent from the footage. I am certain each faction will receive a dedicated reveal trailer showcasing their unique mechanics and customization. Now, let's analyze that global map frame. It clarifies the concept significantly. Planets are connected by dotted lines, presumably warp travel routes. Some worlds appear lifeless, likely the result of exterminatus or virus bombings. Planet names are currently obscured. For Space Marines, 2 resources are visible, likely requisition and unit cap. Buttons next to Calgar's portrait suggest active abilities or strategic orders. The scroll icon in the corner strongly implies a diplomacy mechanic.
Finally, let's do a speed round on the hot topics. Where's Chaos? No Chaos Space Marines at launch. Expect them as DLC. They'll likely drop very soon after release. Remember the support for the first Warhammer Fantasy? DLCs hit every 3-4 months. I think the pace here will be even steadier since this isn't a trilogy. It's going to be a single live service platform. The engine. The devs said it's built from the ground up for 40K. No more jank from stitching 3 games together like in Mortal Empires. The galaxy will just expand with new chunks of content. By the way, this confirms the old rumors about the monetization model. DLC. No paywalled pre-order race. CA ditched that practice. There will be other goodies, but they'll only spill the beans in 2026 when pre-orders open. Blood. You won't have to buy blood for the Blood God. Gore is finally baked in by default as a core part of the atmosphere. Mods. Mod support is in, but the tools will drop post-launch. My verdict. I like pretty much everything they showed. Nothing looks like a total fail. The potential here is massive. Yeah, people are grumbling. This isn't Total War. Where are the thousands of units? Maybe it's a tech limit, or maybe it's a paradigm shift toward Company of Heroes, Dawn of War, Dove combat, and Star Wars Empire at War strategy. But that declared 3-layer map, galaxy, system, planet sounds incredibly deep. Let's see how it works in reality. I'll keep you posted on all Total War Warhammer 40K news. Smash that subscribe button. Good luck, everyone, and see you next time.